All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. I am trying to dial in just the right amount of background music. If the music is too loud, please let me know. I will do my best to keep my eye on the chat. All right, cool. Let's draw. Um, we're working Maru Kiru stuff today again. And try to get my own audio so that I don't blow your eardrums out if I drop something on the desk. And yeah. Hey, M-Shakes. How we doing? Thanks for joining me yet again. Yeah, actually, it was. Thank you for asking. We're gonna be working on the same page today, oddly enough. But yeah, I ended the last stream on a bit of an uncertain note with my computer froze up, or rather, the program froze up, and I wasn't sure where my recovery point was. But no, I didn't lose anything. I've actually done quite a bit of work since then. So you can see two-page spreads that I did after the one that I was working on Tuesday, and I'm going to be going back to the one I was working on before to do colors. So a lot has happened in the last couple of days. But thank you for your concern. Yeah, no, I understand. I had a little bit of a heart attack. I tried not to let on how concerned I was on the stream, but that would have been very bad if I had lost all of that. Because I haven't. I was thinking about it, and I actually haven't had a catastrophic work loss in a long time. I'm due for one. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Do the coloring process today, which I feel like is good to do on stream because a lot of the work's already done, and you kind of get to enjoy looking at the full page while I just lay in the colors and do the tweaks, etc., etc. So. Start this out in the way that I do a lot of pages where I throw up a gradient behind everything. I'm not used to the music having lyrics. That's cool. I like it. When I was first starting out with art, I never really stopped liking gradients. But one of the early pieces of advice I got was don't use gradients until you know how to use gradients. And I'm not entirely sure if I ever learned what that meant, but I like the way my gradients look, so I'm not too upset. Okay, so the thing we got going on here, this is two pages, two facing pages. And while it's not technically a two-page spread, it kind of straddles the line. So we have to make sure we're calling attention to the correct panels. We're worried about flow. We're worried about all these things. We're making sure the panels pop off the background. So I do that primarily by picking an offset color. To be the panels. You can see me using the lasso a lot in the early going on this. You're also going to see my patented 5 gajillion layers technique. I was talking last time about how I like to hand draw the panels in the Maru Kiru comics, and I don't regret that. Um, but it does make my initial flatting process a tiny bit difficult. If you use a panel tool, if you use a straight line or a polyline tool to make your panels, lasso is really easy because you can just the hand drawn lines are a little bit more wabi sabi. So I need to look up if wabi sabi is a real thing. It's a King of the Hill joke, so it might not be. But I've been saying it for years. One of these days, I'm going to assemble a bespoke playlist. I'm never 100% sure if my vocabulary is correct, but I believe the part of the process I'm currently in is called separation. It's before flats. It's really kind of part of the flatting process, but you're picking out foreground from background. Um, you're making sure that everything stands out and reads the way it's supposed to at a glance. I'm gonna stream till about 4:30 Eastern Standard today, which will be in approximately 50 minutes. Um, I like these hour-long streams. I kind of wish that they were longer sometimes, but like honestly, an hour is a good length of time that I can commit to sitting in one place without something of critical importance coming up. So I think that we'll be able to finish this in time. If we don't finish it, we'll come really close. I've been knocking out the pages lately. My current work schedule is to do 6 pages every 4 days, and then take 1 day to do biz dev admin stuff, and then try to leave the weekend as a real weekend to combat burnout. I really like the way this page is coming together. We didn't get through most of it last time. Mostly because of, oops. Mostly because inking is much slower for me to do than color when I'm also talking at the same time. The other thing I like about doing gradients is overlaying over gradients. Gives you a cool effect. I gotta make some choices now. I should try to do the things that I don't have to make choices about first, because they come together faster, and then I can make decisions that I need to make. That's a good plan. Good plan, me. If we end up having time at the end, I'll do like a show and tell of the other pages I was working on this week. Because, like I said, a lot happened. Iron Jungle is definitely something that has been a lot of fun to draw. And I wanted to give myself a background in an environment that I would enjoy drawing and enjoy kind of fiddling with. I need to try to find something without lyrics. It's actually distracting me. Something about having to speak at the same time. Alright. You know, I'm realizing as I'm going through this that a lot of my coloring process is me looking at the page and making decisions, which might not be the most compelling. So I'll try to at least tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I think the thing to do is going to be to focus on Maru and kind of work my way out from there. Whenever I'm kind of like reaching an indecision point, that's the first thing I think about. She's the hero of the piece, and therefore that's where we want to pay the most attention. In a case like this where I've already made some color decisions for this chapter, I can just go ahead and pull swatches from other pages I've been working on. Anything you can do to take brain work out of the equation. I really do my best to do all my brain work at the pencil stage. I don't want to think thoughts when I'm working on this stuff. I want it to just flow from the groundwork that I've set up. Typically that's how I feel I've like created a good process for myself, if I can do it without thinking about it. When I see mistakes, I do tend to correct them right away, just because if I don't, sometimes I forget. Okay. 100 layer style is pretty good for speed, but if you have to go back and find a layer, that's not always great. Getting all these skin tones in. And then we'll do armor blue. You know, I do try to talk about this like I have a really methodical process for coloring, but then you'll kind of see when it plays out. I tend to go at it like a dolphin brain moment, I should say. I'm not paying any attention to the line art I did for the hair because I'm going to paint over it. Oh, thank God. Yeah, fine, whatever. It's all good. Truth is, I'm too precious about my flats layers anyways. I should really just do them all on one layer. Be a lot faster. Should save this cloak color. I sent out all kinds of emails today trying to get on podcasts to talk about my upcoming Kickstarter. So wish me luck. Podcasts are kind of, I don't know, some of them are easy to get on and some of them are not. And I feel like I don't really notice a whole lot of difference in result from the difference between the ones that are difficult to get on and the ones that are not difficult to get on. Maybe it's because I haven't gotten on any of the very difficult ones. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a podcast appearance that I didn't enjoy though. People are usually pretty cool. So the very last thing that we're going to do is the painting of the hair. It usually happens very quickly. You know, when I did a stream where I designed the sword, the Starlight Traveler, and the reason I did that stream was, one, I wanted to do a quick stream, and that was the fastest thing that I could think to draw. But the second reason was I wanted to lay down a design for the sword to set it in stone, because I was kind of all over the place in the way that I would draw the sword. And even when I was designing it, I'm like, well, I'm never actually going to draw it in full detail, but this is what it looks like, and we'll put it as a backup material so people will see this is what it looks like, and then their brain can fill in the blanks. And what's really funny is ever since I nailed down that design, I find myself drawing it in more or less, maybe not full detail, but reduced detail. I stick to the design though, which is cool, because it was something I wasn't necessarily expecting to be able to do. But I don't know. Sometimes when you just lay a good foundation for yourself, the rest kind of follows naturally. Boy, she is like cotton candy pink. Because this is not the actual skin tone that I use. It's this. And then, I do this thing with the tone. And here I'll show you. So, I tone everything before I do my flats. That way, once I lay my flats on, I'm pretty much done. but you can change the color of your tone layer, and I usually use purple. That lets you amp up some of the shadows without making it unprintable. It really gives you a lot of good distinction. And it just kind of livens up the whole piece, in my opinion. Okay, I think we've got all of our Maru's Kiru'd here, except for the sword. Oh, and whatever she's got going on down here. Alright, that's cool. We can do this. Didn't really think you're going to get out of this whole comic without a big old magenta pop, did you? When I first started this comic, Maru had blue eyes, because I wanted it to be a joke about how every character has blue eyes, and then I realized I just didn't like the way that looked, so now she has yellow eyes, and has since like chapter 2, I think, so. Tidbits that you'll only hear me talk about on stream. Aren't you lucky? Alright, who's next? Nope, still working on this. I'm not 100% on that effect, but let's try something new and see if I like it later. I tend to find out I have something like that I'm not really sure about, that if I stick it in the drawer and come back to it a couple days later, I'll be able to tell pretty much instantly whether I like it or not. That's one of those things that happened with the Dandadan poster, which is done and printed and available for you to buy from me. Where I reached a point on the stream where I was like, boy, I can't even tell if I like this or not anymore. And I put it in the drawer and I let it sit overnight, and I came back to it and decided, no, I did not like it, and I did a bunch to fix it. It looks great now. Oops. This needs to go underneath. Yeah, the sword is one of those things that's like... Of course, one of the core tenets of Maru Kiru being that she melts every weapon that she touches. The book made it a surprisingly long time before I decided it needed a you know, kind of a flagship weapon. Ha! Oh. Okay, let me turn it up a little bit, I guess. I'm being told the music is actually not quite loud enough. Let me know what you think of that. I don't know. I'm also not entirely sure how long of a delay I'm on with the chat, because I feel like I haven't talked about... Oh, you had your own music on until just now. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Now it's too loud. Ugh. I'll try to, like, split the difference here. We'll dial this in eventually. Okay, cool. Good now. The problem is that the volume of it does not change for me. I have it as just what it is, and then I change the setting in my stream studio for how loud the desktop audio plays. Boy, I really hate that. We're gonna throw some blood on the page later. Actually, not gonna finish this today. It's disappointing. Oh well. We'll get as much done as we can. And also, yesterday, still not technically going to get thrown off schedule because I spent my morning working on admin stuff, so... But I was really kind of hoping that we would just get to look at the finished product today. One of my favorite things about these characters right now is that they're in various levels of disguise. You know, going into the jungle, there's all of these mechanical people called dregs that live in the jungle, and so they wear disguise. You see, Banza and Yaga have very good disguises, and Maru just doesn't care. So I in the scrapped version of this issue, I had a big to-do about them talking about the disguises, and I just realized that was very boring, and it would be a lot more fun if they just wore them. And it's a show don't tell thing, right? You can see this panel, I feel specifically, is like you can tell what they're going for. And of course, Yaga always had the kind of weird disguise costume, pulling her head down into the robe and having the hat sit on it like a big face. You know, lore tidbits that I probably won't talk about in the actual comic proper, but are fun to discuss outside of that. What color pants do you have? I don't remember. Also green. Okay. I'm going to collapse all these flats except for the backgrounds. Thinking about this in real time as I'm working on it, it's like there's just no reason for me to have so many freaking layers to have to remember. I can just do some precise brushwork. It's always funny to think about like what you think is a time saver it actually ends up being something that wastes a lot of your time. The other thing is I also work with a giant sledgehammer brush, so if I put down just a little bit too much pressure, everything goes haywire. And of course the natural follow-up question to that is, well, why do you use a brush that's so huge with such a high pressure sensitivity? And the reason is because I like to barely put any pressure on it, because I draw all day every day and I don't want to make my wrists fall off. When you need to put a lot of pressure on the pen, you clench the pen in that classic death grip, and causes a lot of problems. If you learn to have a light touch, you'll have a better time. It's like I have to barely press on this and then just move my arm and shoulder around, and it does what I want it to. I really love this pose that she's doing here. This one happened entirely by accident, but it came out really cool. She looks really nonchalant. What else is of interest on this page? There's a lot going on this page. When I finished the pencil for this, I was concerned that it wasn't going to read at all. But, you know, I think it's really coming out, so... So I'm going to finish doing the flats for Bonza's clothes, and then I think I'm going to skip forward to doing the Maru Kiru hair, actually, because I did want to do that. It won't take too long. It'll be a cool way to end the stream. I don't know why I thought I was going to move with the speed of a tiger today. Will probably go on to finish this before day's end, but that won't happen on stream, unfortunately. Okay, so when we lay in the Maru Kiru hair, it's a really simple process. This is a base color. And there's two different ways to do it. I'm actually going to do both of them on this page. If I want to keep the line art like I do in this panel, it's really just a matter of I saved an intermediary tone today, and it's gone. That's cool. Must have done something funky. Okay, it's back. So I can select this. And the hair goes dark to light. It stays purple on the bottom of the fringe. And it gets pinker as it goes to the top. Get that nice iridescent thing going. We love having wrists. Yes! Wrists are good. I've had wrist issues in the past, and they're much better now. I've been taking good care of my wrists the past couple of years. But I definitely had some repetitive strain issues. So I do the highlight. Just try to think about like the shimmer that goes across the wave as opposed to doing like the whole strand. All right, so that's how you do it when you're keeping the line art. When you're not keeping the line art, like up here, you're painting over it. It starts with the same color, but we're treating it like a painting right now. And this is what I typically consider to be kind of, the more fun way to do it. We do want to throw a base in. Okay, now we got a solid base and we can play with top. It just becomes a lot more easy to kind of think about the way that hair works when you're not being confined to trying to do something inside of line art. And Maru's hair is very representative, and Not at all realistic. All my homies hate realism. And we really just build up the layers in pretty much the same way. And you get kind of this cool volumetric thing going. That again just kind of just gives a lot of life to it. Got to keep in mind like where it is on the, between the foreground and background. Like it's got to go behind the sword. All my homies hate realism, but they don't hate realism that much. I just love how iridescent the hair is. It's one of my favorite things to draw. If it makes your eyes kind of hurt, you're headed in the right direction. So that's pretty much the size of it. I might smooth that out a little bit. That's the basic process. And sometimes I put an additional layer between that and that. But a lot of times I think that just kind of makes it... No, I actually like that today. We'll leave it. It's on its own layer, so if I decide I don't want it later, I can come back and take it out. It is very close to the skin tone, so you just kind of have to keep it away from that so you don't notice it quite so much. But yeah, not bad. And then down here, which will be now the last thing we do today. I had more lines down here, but it don't matter. It can be whatever you want. It's your comic. Do whatever you want. Well, actually, this is my comic, so you can't do whatever you want, but I can. You do whatever you want on your own. Now that we've got that cleared up. So this is kind of cool because we're flowing it into the sword stroke and the magic as well. Alright, pretty cool. That's going to be it for today. I said I would give you a little show and tell of the other pages that I've been working on for this series, and I will. So this one is pretty cool. And this one is pretty cool. These are all spoilers. But hey, we want to get you excited about what's coming. There's no words on the page. You don't know what any of these people are doing. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Not a whole lot left to go. And when I finish the issue, I'll be all set for the Kickstarter. Thanks for coming to watch the stream today. Please don't forget to sign up for the Kickstarter pre-launch. If you're watching this on replay, again, the Kickstarter is coming on 3/23, so sign up for the pre-launch to make sure you are on the button when that comes out. And then there might be early bird rewards, so something to keep an eye on. And of course, the campaign's going to run until 4/23, so I'll be promoting it like nuts during that time. I'll probably do several streams where I won't shut up about it. But there's also a fan art thingamadingy call for fan art. That's what it is. I'm looking for fan art to feature in a blog. I'm going to be doing like a weekly fan art feature starting. I think I actually need to put a new one out. So there's 5 pieces of fan art that you check out on my Coffee page right now. There's a blog there talking about the call for fan art and showing off some of that, and I'm going to start putting those out. Starting, I need to do one this week, and then next week we'll do another one until we get through all of them. But if you have new fan art you want to send me, please do. Send it to my email, hdbcomics@gmail.com. Extremely cool. Can't wait. Need to catch up. Yeah, hey, you can all read it all on Global Comics right now. It's to catch up if you need to. There's also going to be catch-up tiers on the Kickstarter. You can get PDFs or hard copies, whatever you need. And besides that, it's all going to be all good to go. So, hey, thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time, and we'll be working on finishing up this comic next week.